a sound. On the outside, always looking in a way like never be more than I've always been. Cause I'm tapping on the glass, waving through a window.
Hello my Broadway buddies and welcome back to Always Acting. I'm Evan, you can follow me on Instagram at alwaysacting08, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the Broadway show, Waitress. Let's get into the video. By the way, this video is going to be a big spoiler of the show since it is a review, so if you don't want a spoiler of the show, you can leave, but please stay if you want to hear the show. Okay, so to start off, Waitress is about this girl named Jenna, and she works in a diner, and she is an amazing pie baker. And she can make all these pies in her head. It's kind of like an escape for her. It's like she thinks about making these pies and like she names them and she puts weird ingredients together and she says like, you might think that they don't go together, but they do in a way. And it's her escape from world, from her troubles, from life, from, you know, her struggles in life, her husband. Just making pies is how she escapes from all of that drama. Okay, so Jenna is in almost an abusive, I would say, marriage. It's like an unhealthy marriage, basically. His name is Earl, that's her husband, and he is like very like, oh, you have to give me the money you made, and at one part he almost like punches her. It was like about to hit her, but then she stops it by telling him she's pregnant. Anyway, so basically Jenna is unhappy and she wants to leave him, but he won't let her. And she doesn't have the courage to in the beginning of the show and throughout it until basically the end. She doesn't have the courage to say, I'm leaving you, Earl, because she knows he'll do something to her, you know? And so she's scared of that, and so she has to stay with him. And basically, in the beginning of the show, Jenna figures out she's pregnant, and she does not want to be pregnant. She does not want the baby at first, and she didn't want that to happen. It's Earl's baby. And she's upset about it, and she doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know what to do with this baby and with her life after this. And so Jenna goes to this doctor, and his name is Dr. Pomander, and she has an affair with him. And I feel like she just needed something different, and she doesn't want to be with Earl anymore, and it's all crazy. So basically Jenna works with this girl, Becky, and the other girl, Dawn. And so Becky is this sassy, she's very smart and out there. Becky is one of her co-workers, and then the other one is Dawn, and Dawn was played by Colleen Ballinger, so I saw Colleen as Dawn. Dawn is a very like, she keeps to herself a lot. She's very, I don't know, like a geeky-ish, and it's in a good way though. She's very just like keeps to herself sometimes, except, you know, she'll tell her co-workers things, but she just like isn't out there as much as maybe Becky, or, you know. So Dawn is very funny character. She's very awkward, like socially, and just like you can see in the character choices that like the way she walked, she looked really awkward, and the way she talked, it was like. I'm going to get into how Colleen and Todrick were. Colleen as Dawn she was amazing. I mean, her When He Sees Me was just like, it was really good. You could see that she really like committed to this character, and she's like, every time she goes on stage, it's just, she's focused, you know? And so I really appreciated that because it made it more lifelike. Like you could relate to these characters in one way or another. And so basically what Colleen was really good. I love the character choices she made, like the way she walked. It was kind of like, at first it was like a little waddle thing. It was really funny, whatever she did, and it showed her awkwardness, Dawn's awkwardness, and I really thought that brought more life to the character. Todrick as Ogie was so funny throughout the show. Me and my mom, we saw it. We were just laughing the whole time. We were like, this character, Todrick, is amazing. It was just so funny. He's really funny. Those two characters are, well, I think Ogie's more like out there with his life, and Dawn's more conservative. And so when you mix those two, it was really funny because just the way they interacted with each other, and since Colleen and Todrick are friends, it really added, because you could see that they were having fun on stage, but like they were still in character and they were still applying it as their characters, which really worked for that. Our Becky was amazing. Her voice was so powerful, just like her I Didn't Plan It was outstanding. I really thought she did an amazing job. You could see that she really studied that character, and she made things better as she got on. I mean, like, I'm not saying she wasn't good at all, like, in the first. I'm just saying, like, you could see that she's probably working on this character for a long time. She knows this character, basically, like, the way she said her lines. So if you don't know this, Keala Settle was the original Becky, and I've watched bootlegs of Waitress and the original cast, so Keala Settle, Kimiko Glenn, Jesse Mueller. Basically, Keala Settle, she like made these lines like funny, like in a way. They were already funny, but she made them her own, you know, she made them like that. And so what the Becky we saw, she took those lines, it seems like she did is like, how can I make these funny in my own way? And so it wasn't like you were watching copy of like a different Becky. It was like you were watching her own, you know, she kind of made it her own. She really, like, I feel like she really studied into this character and made it more her own, and I really appreciate that because that makes for a better show. Okay, the music in the show, this is right now, this is my favorite Broadway album to listen to. That's really all I got to say. It's Sarah Bareilles. Really, you could see that she really worked hard on those songs because of how like intricate they are to the storyline. I really love that. The sets were really cool. The way they transitioned into scenes, it wasn't like a blackout. It was like the sets, like in opening up, the sets would come on. They had tracks on the stage and they would like slide on, and it just looked really cool, and it made for a better experience. And because somebody told me this once, that putting a blackout usually it like stops the flow of the story, which I totally agree with, because it's just like a blackout, you see people moving things, but this made it like transitioning into this day, into this, you know, night. I loved the way that they portrayed how waitresses work, because in opening up and in other songs, they're pouring people like coffee, and then they're doing this, and they're giving forks out, and then this person, they're pouring the sugar, and they're cleaning the menu, handing it back. It was just really cool because like that's what a waitress does. They're constantly like, oh, you need a fork, here you go. You want this, here you go. Clean the menu, here's your menu, you know? And they really showed that, and I thought that was really cool. One of the other things I thought was really cool was that during some of the scenes, like so Dawn would, well, you know, Colleen would have like a thing of coffee, and she would go over to like the piano player because the orchestra was like on stage partially, and so she would pour coffee, you know, and it was like really cool. And the way they interacted with people, and it was really amazing how they portrayed being waitresses. And I thought that was one of the best parts of the show, just how they made it seem like these people, you can relate to these people. This is a very relatable show because like of how lifelike it is. We all have these troubles, and one of my favorite songs is Soft Place to Land, and it's about how these three women have dreams, and a dream is somewhere that you can escape from life, reality, what's all the drama. I love that song. So in the end, Jenna has the baby. She was planning on keeping it the whole time, and she finally leaves Earl. She has that courage now to leave Earl. After she had that baby, she was like, I need to do what's right for this baby and what's right for me. And so she was like, I'm leaving you. And everybody just cheered when that happened, because, you know, it's relatable, and how you can finally find the courage in something you didn't think you would have courage in. So she was scared to have that baby, but that baby gave her the courage to leave Earl. And in the end, Joe, so old Joe owns the pie diner that she works at. I think he passes away, he's in like a coma, and they didn't think he would wake up, and so he saw Jenna and he gave her a card, and then he said not to open it until after she had the baby, everything was over, you know. And so she opens it. It says that she basically gets the pie diner, and so in the end she ends up calling it Lulu's Pie Diner. That's the name. She named her daughter Lulu. Everything is working out for once in her life, where she's not having to worry about this, you know, this going wrong, or Earl finding out something, or having to run away, or, you know. And she is just, I feel like she's just happy in her life for once. It really shows how when one thing changes, it can change, everything can change. And that's kind of what the song Everything Changes is about. In the end, Jenna does leave her doctor, Dr. Palmer, because she just realizes that this is wrong and she needs to stop before they hurt anybody, because Dr. Palmer does have a wife, because it could unfold into something even worse. And so she just decided to stop it there. And that is a bittersweet thing, you know. You're like, oh, she shouldn't have been doing that in the first place, you know, so like, good she left him, but like, you're also like, I liked that, you know, I like them together, but then he's kind of out of the picture. And so it's like a bittersweet thing. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like this video, subscribe down below, hit that bell notification so you know every time I post. And I guess I'll see you next time. Bye.
Can do